great to have you here. I'm especially excited to have a UK best-selling indie author. So you write mysteries and thrillers, and maybe you can give us a bit of background on that.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. And yeah, I'm in the UK, as you can probably tell by my accent, and it confuses Americans. It's great. And but I write mysteries and thrillers, the Leopold Blake series, and I also write non-fiction as well. Books specifically designed to help authors find their first 10,000 readers and build their platform. So my fiction work, it's based on a criminology consultant, sort of a modern day Sherlock Holmes type character. And it's great fun, and it's all based in the United States with American characters and American language. So everyone's always a bit surprised when I come out speaking like this, but yeah, I use it to my advantage. And there's 6 books in the series. Been published for about 2 years now, and started seeing some amazing results about 12 months ago when I started really focusing on building up my marketing strategies and focusing on what works. So it's been a very exciting year or so for me.
Yeah, no, I can imagine, and that's actually a year ago that I first got in touch with you, with just the idea of Ricci, and so we both grew a lot in the past year.
Absolutely, yeah. It's great to see so many emerging authors and services to help really grow this industry, because it's such a new market, the self-published industry. It's just great to see all this exciting stuff happening. So yeah,
I
it's great to
agree.
be part of it, definitely.
Yeah, and exciting is definitely the word. I'm just going to lead with this webinar you have on getting your first 10K readers,
Hmm.
and you basically explain how you've been able in the past year or so to become a best-selling author, what techniques you've employed, and I really like your first video, and I encourage authors to basically start the webinar, because that video starts effectively by setting the right mindset, and I think
Yeah.
most authors today they see marketing as like as a problem, as
Hmm.
they see marketing as I want to sell books, what can I do to sell books, and they don't really see it from the reader's perspective, and you change that mindset in the first video.
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. So I have I run some premium training called Your First 10,000 Readers, which is
Mhm.
all designed to get authors thinking about marketing in the right way. And instead of just trying to push sales all the time, it's about building a connection with your fans and getting more and more people signed onto your platform so that you can reach people directly. So I think the problem with a lot of authors is, like you said, they see marketing as a problem, but marketing can be fun as well, because when you're building a real connection with your fans, you get to have that exchange of ideas, and getting emails from people telling you how much they love your books and how they can't wait for the next one, every day is a wonderful feeling. And knowing that when you have a new book to launch, knowing that you can launch it into the top 200 on Amazon, go to the top of the charts on your bestseller lists, without having to pay for advertising, is amazing, because you've got this built-in platform that you have direct control over. Whereas if you're relying fully on Amazon or the other ebook stores to promote for you, or you're relying on Facebook to do that for you, the rules can change at any minute. And we've seen this happen over the last few months with Amazon bringing in Kindle Unlimited, which caused huge problems for people. Facebook deciding that they wouldn't allow professional services to get so much reach on their pages without paying for advertising. Twitter's changed the rules as well, and that's because you don't own that platform. It's their platform, so they can change the rules if they want. But if you build your own platform up, you don't have to worry about it, because you control it. So therefore, you control your career. So my premium training is all based around how to develop that for yourself and build that up so you can take control over being an author. And the webinars that you're talking about are the free videos that I show to people to let them know exactly what they can do to get this process started. So there's currently 4 videos, and you can sign up at yourfirst10kreaders.com, and they'll essentially take you through how the online retailers work. So this is a big one. I think most authors think about marketing like old school traditional marketing that publishers used to do, and some still do, where it's all about the bookstore, like the physical Barnes and Noble or Waterstones, and it's nothing like that, because Amazon and the other stores are search engines. They're like Google for products, Google for books. And if you don't understand how a search engine works, how it indexes books and pages and how you can get to the top of those search results, you're leaving a lot of visibility on the table. So I talk about exactly how to get that right mindset. In video 2, I talk about keywords, categories, finding the right niches. And this is really good because a lot of people think about, I've written a mystery, or I've written a romance book, or I've written, a book on investing or weight loss, and they just shove it in like the weight loss category. And it's the biggest category in that genre, and they're just never going to compete with all these books that are selling hundreds or thousands of copies a day. So I show you how to find those profitable kind of subgenres and keyword searches so that you can show up where there's less competition, but there's still buyers looking for your work. So that makes a huge difference. I mean, doing that, literally, it's quadrupled my sales over the last year. There's testimonials from other authors that skyrocketed their results too, and really that's just makes such a massive difference. And then in videos 3 and 4, I talk about how to actually build that platform up, get people off Amazon and the other stores and onto your website and onto your mailing list and Facebook page, and then how to use that to sell more books, get more reviews, and just take your career where you want it to be. So yeah, 4 free videos. It takes you through how to get started with this, and then there's some premium training that takes you through it all step by step, every little detail as well. So it's all on there at 10K Readers, yourfirst10kreaders.com.
Exactly, and maybe to go back to your previous point on basically search engine optimization for authors, because that's what it is on the bookstores. A precise question on keywords: how often do you change keywords? Do you change them at all, or do you set them one time? And how do you set them first, and how often do you change them? How do you try?
It's difficult, I think, because on Amazon and all the retailers really, they don't publish their search traffic. So if you're on Google, you can go to the Google keyword tool. You can type some keywords in, and you can see how much traffic it gets, how much competition there is. It's fantastic. Amazon doesn't do this, and they keep it all very much to themselves. So you have to be a bit more manual about it. You have to use, a bit of common sense. So the easiest way to do it is to use the search bar at the top of the book page and start typing in some relevant search terms that you think might apply, and then Amazon will suggest some for you, and you just pick some suggested terms and check out whether the books listed under those terms are selling well. And if they are selling well, it's a good keyword, then you just have to determine whether you can compete with that level of sales. So if you're currently selling 1 copy a day, you don't want to be in a keyword pool that's full of books selling hundreds of copies a day. So it's a lot of manual kind of trial and error. But I do talk about some software that you can use to automate that process as well. But it's entirely possible to do it manually. It's all spelled out in the videos. But finding the right keywords is very important, and it depends. I don't change mine that often. If I see my sales drop, I'll go back and check. But really, there's no kind of set time that you want to change them out. But it all depends on exactly how you're performing. So there's no magic answer.
Yeah. And then onto the second thing you do, which is building the platform and making it as viral as possible. One post I really liked was the one on readers magnets, because a lot of indie authors, I finished the book and I see often a sentence saying indie authors rely on reviews or their newsletters, so please subscribe, please leave a review. And that's not a real incentive. You've put a real incentive.
Yeah, you've got to think about what's in it for the reader. What's the benefit to the reader of doing something? Because if you put a call to action at the back of your book, like buy the next book or subscribe to my mailing list or leave a review, the reader's thinking, what's in it for me? Why should I do that? I mean, some people will, of course, but most people will just completely ignore that. What you have to do to get more results is offer the reader something for them, something of value to get them to take action. And personally, I would rather have them sign up to my mailing list than anything else. Because if you can get their email address and get consent from them to contact them in the future, you can then ask them for reviews and you can ask them for sales later on down the line. When you've built up that brand and that relationship. Because at the moment, it's a bit like a first date. The readers finish the book, they finish their first date, and then it's like you're asking them to marry you. It's crazy. You want to build that relationship first before asking them for a favor. So the way I do it is I offer them something at the end of the book. I also mention it at the beginning as well, just to make sure they can't miss it. But I offer them something of value in return for signing up to my mailing list, and that made such a big difference. I mean, we're talking more than 1,000% increase in sign-ups just from doing that. And I offer them a book, a full book, another book in the series, or a related book if it's a non-fiction work. But you don't have to offer a full book. You can offer bonus chapters. You can offer deleted scenes. If you're doing non-fiction, you can do cheat sheets and case studies and videos and anything you want, as long as it's related to the book that the reader's just finished. Give them something that will give them value, and they will sign up to your mailing list. And then you have the chance to build that brand up, and then when the time is right, you can ask them for reviews, you can ask them for sales, you can ask them for polls, you can ask them questions, you can do whatever you like, but you have to build that relationship first, and that's what's missing. If you just say, sign up to hear about new releases, nobody cares. There's millions of books. Why would I want to find out about another book? But if you say, if you enjoyed that book, I've got an extra one for you in the series, or here's some deleted scenes, or bonus chapters, or character studies. One author who does, he writes spy fiction. He put together a redacted MI6 case file, featuring his main character. It was like 3 pages long. Took him 2 hours, and he offered this as an incentive, and it got people signing up. It just makes all the difference, because you're thinking about what's in it for your readers, not what's in it for you.
Exactly. I think that's the right mindset. And it's funny because at the start of the year, we've seen several indie authors publishing videos, like Hugh Howey or Joanna Penn, publishing videos on how they read and how they find the next books. And that really exemplifies the change in their mindset, because they think from the reader perspective.
Yeah.
When are you going to
and
do
you're building
that
connection? Yeah. I'm going to make as much effort as possible to build a connection with readers, because from a reader's point of view, you've got a book out there. They have no idea who you are. They don't know what your life story is or your personality is. All they know is your book. If you're publishing videos like Joanna Penn and Hugh Howey, where they sit in front of the camera, and I particularly like Hugh Howey's, where he does the box opening and he gets like a big machete out and he starts cutting the boxes open, and he shows people all these cool book covers and crazy stuff he's trying out. You really you build that connection, and readers start to understand who you are as a person, and then they're much more likely to buy from you, because they're invested in your success, because they feel like they know you, like they're friends almost, and that's perfect.
Exactly. And you've got also a very strong indie author community that you can leverage. And you have been working a lot collaborating with Matt Iden, who's another author in your genre, right?
Yeah. And collaboration is absolutely key, because this kind of old school mentality of book launch is the be all and end all is gone. It used to be where if your book didn't sell 20,000 copies in the first 3 months, your publisher would either drop you or reduce your advances, or be less invested in marketing your next book. But with the indie mentality is different, because we don't rely on huge sales at the beginning. We can be happy with a few hundred sales in the first month, or a few dozen, or even 10 sales in the first launch week. But that sale, those sales and that money keeps coming in over time, and there's no shelf life. So we're not in competition, because we don't have to compete with this bestseller or that bestseller during this launch week, because we're available forever. So the idea of competition has gone out the window, and we can actually work with other authors to benefit everybody, because we've all got the same objective, which is to reach more readers, get our work out into the world, and there's no reason why we can't work together. I mean, I email out my audience all the time, my platform. If I've got nothing of my own to promote, I'll recommend other authors' books, because I want my readers to trust me, and I can give them something good to read. That's a great way of doing it.
Definitely. Another thing I wanted to touch here was your brand that you have developed across the years and since the very beginning, and that appears very strongly in your covers. Do you think that's one of your selling points, or it's just there to support the other marketing activities you make?
Well, branding is very important, because it essentially means that readers know what to expect. So your name is a brand. So if someone's going to read a Nick Stephenson book, they should understand what that's going to be like. But from a visual point of view, having those covers almost identical across the series, high quality covers, identical theme, identical branding, means that when they're scrolling through a list of books, they can see a visual representation of me, and they go, "Oh, that's a Nick Stephenson book," and they'll have a look at it, and then they'll see the also boughts down the bottom of the page, and they'll see all the covers lined up, and on my website they see the covers again, and it's this very strong kind of visual trigger that gets people excited about looking at your books, and it adds together. There's so many different layers of branding, but the visual aspect is very important as well. So covers, absolutely, one of the most important things you can do is have a decent cover, and if you're writing in a series, having those covers match as closely as possible can make a really big difference, definitely.
Do you do, or have you done perma free in the first book in the series or not?
Yes, I do, and the reason for this is, like we talked about, the ebook stores being more like search engines. It's like any online business. You need two things. You need traffic, and you need to convert that traffic into paying customers. Now, you know this from starting Ricci. You can't have a business without traffic, and what good is traffic if you can't turn it into subscribers and customers, right? So perma-free is a wonderful way of getting traffic, because you can get 50 to 100 times as many downloads if your book is free compared to if it was even 99 cents. So even though you don't make money directly on that free download, because you're getting 50, 60, 100 times as many people checking you out, if you're doing something smart with that traffic, you can then convert those extra people into subscribers and fans, and then sell the other books. So I found that having the first book free has just exploded things. It's been absolutely incredible, and I definitely recommend it. And if you don't want to use perma-free, you can use free promotions as well. If you're in KDP Select, you can use those 5 days, every 90 days, really promote that free book, and you can get subscribers that way as well, and they'll lead on to the other books, and it makes a huge difference.
Definitely. And another thing also is that, like, you're not afraid to spend money as long as it brings more money back, right? I've seen your latest numbers. You spend a certain amount on covers, almost as much as on editing, at least on the last numbers, and also on a lot of promotion tools. Do you do Facebook ads too?
I do, yes. I mean, that's something I didn't include in the breakdown because I'd only been doing it for a couple of months. But it's like anything, if you want to take your business to the next level, you're not going to be able to do it using free marketing tools or a $5 ad. It's not going to work. You get back what you put in. And I'm not saying that you can't get somewhere without spending a ton of money. I mean, I started making serious money from publishing without really spending that much money. But you hit a plateau pretty quickly. And if you want to jump to the next level, you really have to think about how to invest in your own business, invest in yourself. And it's not about how much does this cost. You've got to think, what value will this investment bring? So that's either, spending $100 on an advert and making back $500. That's easy maths. Or spending $100 on a service so that you can save 2-3 hours worth of time. And that's worth it as well, because then you have time to create more books or spend time with your family or whatever it is you want to do. So if it's going to save you money, or if it's going to earn you money or save you time, it's a good investment, absolutely. And I would spend more on these things if I could, and probably will going forward. But Facebook ads have been absolutely incredible. I mean, literally, aiming it at my non-fiction kind of author marketing side of things, I'm getting subscribers through that are costing me about $1, but they're earning me $15. So it's just incredible amount of ROI on those, and I don't think it will last forever. Facebook will cotton on to how much money people are making, and the prices will go up. But while it's good, it's very good.
And I think that's depends a lot on the competitive landscape, because for example, for startups or services, Facebook ads are much more difficult because there's a lot of competition. Every startup uses them. But maybe for authors, you're one of the only ones using Facebook ads. And that's one of the important things I think about creative marketing, is trying out new stuff that other people are not doing. And where do you find your inspiration to try new stuff out?
I mean, the Facebook side of things is because they have such a wide audience,
Mm-hmm.
but they've been very smart about how they do their advertising, because you can narrow down who you're targeting to like the infinite degree of laser focus. So you can always reach the right people. It doesn't matter how many other people are using Facebook ads. Your audience is going to be different to 99.9% of everyone else. So you just focus on what's important to your business and your books. And you hear about these things from other industries, like the internet marketing industry and e-commerce and retail, using these new techniques. They usually apply to pretty much any business that operates online. Apply it to your author career as well. I keep an eye on all the marketing blogs and all the magazines about what people are doing, what innovative stuff people are doing, not just authors but other businesses as well. And I always think, how can I apply this to my publishing business? Will it work for readers? And generally it does. You just have to tweak it a little bit to make it suit your audience. But inspiration comes from wherever you find it. You just keep your eyes open.
Exactly, and I think that's very important. Like, to all the general marketing advice you see out there, whether it's from tech world or business world, you apply it to your business, and that's what all startups do, and maybe more authors should do. And little plug for Ricci, we just published an interview with Seth Godin, who's a big-time marketing expert and who has published books, and he has an interesting technique. When readers, he only publishes paperbacks for his last self-published book, and when readers order one book, he sends two. When readers order 3 books, he sends 5.
Absolutely.
To increase the shareability.
And that's it. I mean, I love Seth Godin's stuff because he always focuses on his customers. One of the great things he said during one speech was, and this was about email marketing. He said, I'm paraphrasing very badly here, but he said, think about when you send your next email. Think about your subscribers. Would anyone miss you if you didn't send this email? If the answer is no one's going to miss you, don't send that email. Think about what value you're adding. Because if people aren't contacting you to ask where this email is that you've been talking about, you're doing something wrong. And I love that, because it's all about building a connection, and it definitely works.
I agree. So let's end this interview on a good note. What's your number one advice? How do you get authors who are stressed about marketing and who don't approach it in the right way? How do you get them to approach it from the reader's perspective, from the fan perspective, and from you're going to have fun interacting with your readers, and that's what's going to drive sales?
Well, I think we had a little break there, sorry. Yeah. Well, the absolute key to any business that operates online is getting subscribers, getting people onto your mailing list, because you don't know where your traffic is going to go tomorrow. And if you're relying on Amazon or Facebook or someone else to send you customers and promote for you, that's not going to last forever. So you have to build up that mailing list. And to do that, you have to take the traffic you've already got and offer them something valuable and ask them if they want to sign up to get more value. And then you have that built-in platform, and you can sell when the time suits. And then you control your career. It doesn't happen overnight. It does require hard work. But if you check out the videos that we've talked about, I'll show you how to get started. So it's not as scary as it sounds. It's a very logical process, and it can be done by anybody. It doesn't matter what you're writing. So no excuses.
I totally agree, and I recommend those videos. They're fun. Thank you very much for the interview, Nick, and all the best with your writing career, not your full time.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks.